Welcome back to First Take. So the Timberwolves have reached the Western Conference Finals the last 2 years, but will have to face the Nuggets, who have won 12 straight and are getting healthy just in time to capitalize on the T-Wolves' up and down regular season. They've faced each other in 2 out of the last postseasons. So what's building there? Well, here's Ant-Man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to call it but a rivalry. Yeah.
Is that good for the league? You don't see a lot of rivals in the league anymore. Do you think that's good for the league?
I think it's a lot of rivalries in the league now.
So?
Yeah, for sure. I think me and Denver is one of them.
Okay, so Denver and Minnesota, a rivalry. Stephen A., what do you think?
I would say so, because I think that Jokic and Murray can't be summarily dismissed. They were 3-1 against Minnesota this year, but Minnesota has knocked them out in the playoffs before. Ant-Man averages 30 against them on 46% shooting, and he elevates his level of play because it's required. We have to remember that even though Minnesota has had the advantage in the postseason, the reality is that when you look at the combination of Jokic and Jamal Murray, they can beat anybody when they're clicking on both, and when they're clicking together. That dynamic two-man team. Doggy, I interviewed Coach Chris Finch on your channel, my show, your channel, yesterday. And obviously, you know what, he conceded the same thing in terms of who they are, what they bring to the table, and how formidable they are. So I definitely think that Ant-Man is right. And I think that's the right attitude for him to have, because Denver is clearly capable of sending them home.
Yeah, they sure I'd be a very good series. I don't look at it as a rivalry, though. A second-round playoff series in the NBA historically is not going to be a rivalry situation, so I don't quite look at it that way. Plus, Jokic, now listen, I'll tell you a rivalry. Jokic against Wembanyama, San Antonio, Oklahoma City down the road, that's got a chance to be a big rivalry. 2 huge teams, they're young, stars on each end, playing for a conference final. That I think you got a good chance for Spurs Thunder for the next 5-6 years, every game being a huge game. I don't look at Denver and Minnesota on that level. I think Steve's right. I think Denver can beat anybody, and Edwards gives the Timberwolves a puncher's chance because he can go score 50 in any of these games. But at the end of the day, Nuggets are playing well right now. They won 14 in a row. They did a nice job. They played well. I would think Denver will win the series.
So the Nuggets won the chip, we remember, in 2023. And then the next year in the semifinals, the Timberwolves beat them in 7 games. So they've kind of built this thing now in the postseason, it feels. We'll see what happens in the first round this year. Because there has not been a repeat champion in the NBA in 8 seasons. So would it be more impressive now if Oklahoma City can do it and repeat? Or if Boston wins it all with Tatum coming off that Achilles injury so early? What do you think, Matt?
I think Celtics, based on the idea that, nobody expected at the beginning of the year for them to be in this situation without Tatum for 70-something games, 60 games. So to me, the Celtics coming back
62.
off that terrible injury last year and losing the Knicks, which they did. Now, listen, the West is much harder. Beating Philly, the Knicks, and Detroit or Cleveland is not as difficult as OKC having to go through maybe San Antonio or Denver or Houston back-to-back. But I do think if the Celtics do get to the win the title with the Tatum injury, the fact that nobody thought this was going to occur, and for them to have the wherewithal to win it all again, I would think that'd be more impressive.
I would disagree with you there. I'm going to go with Oklahoma City as the answer to this question. I would agree with you, Doggy, if Tatum had never come back. Then that would be different. But the fact that he came back after missing the 62 games, and obviously he's flowed with them over the last 20 games or so, getting himself ready for the postseason. I think that the Boston Celtics, even though, again, 4 of their top 8 players are gone, Porzingis, Horford, Drew Holiday, that kind of thing, you still got Derek White there. You still got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, your 2 preeminent stars. Obviously, you still have Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, who's really, really formidable for them. So I look at it from that standpoint, along with the fact that the East is not as tough as the West. And I say the answer to this question is OKC. You are the reigning, defending NBA champions. You have a team like the San Antonio Spurs, led by a 7'5" superstar in Victor Wembanyama, who went 26-2 over a 28-game stretch and still wasn't able to catch you for the number 1 seed in the West. Even when a guy like Jalen Williams, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's sidekick, missed about 49 games this year. And Shai himself missed about 12 to 14 games. Still, they're the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, ready to defend their crown. I would say if they repeated back-to-back looking at Minnesota, Denver, San Antonio, and to a lesser degree, Houston in the Western Conference standing in your way, and you get through all of that, and then possibly Boston to repeat as NBA champions, I would believe that's more impressive back-to-back than the Celtics winning this year.
I would tend to agree. You got to remember, Oklahoma City didn't just walk into the finals last year. That was a very competitive final series with the Pacers, and Pacers were very close to winning it all. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton getting hurt didn't help them. But the Boston Celtics, even Stephen A. just said it, like, what if they have to go through them, Oklahoma City does, to win it all? Remember, the number one seed is not the Celtics, it is the Detroit Pistons. Wendy said it yesterday. Everyone seems to be sleeping on the Pistons in the East. Do you agree? Go ahead, Stephen A.
I was going to say this. One last thing to add about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was injured, doggy, and he comes back. Since he's been back, 19-1.
He's
just
great.
Want to throw that out.
Great. Team's great.
19-1. Are we sleeping on the Pistons? No. And I'm glad you asked that question because I hope the Pistons are watching. I want them to understand this. They've been the number one seed. J.B. Bickerstaff has done an outstanding job coaching this team, and they've shown a lot because Cade Cunningham goes down with the partial lung collapse and all of that, and these guys collapsed lung. I'm sorry, and these guys didn't really miss a beat. A matter of fact, they looked pretty damn impressive without him, even without a bona fide, consistent, legitimate secondary option. This kid Jalen Durham is big time. I mean, he's blossoming, no doubt about it. Tobias Harris and the rest of the crew there and the whole bit, and they haven't missed a beat, and they held on, and they're the number one seed. You're not sleeping on them because you recognize the fact that they're title contenders, that they could easily beat anybody in the Eastern Conference, as they have shown in terms of the way they've beaten Boston the vast majority of times they faced them this year, and they've shellacked the New York Knicks, no doubt about it. The only reason why this question is being asked is because the Boston Celtics got Jason Tatum back. And now everybody's looking at the fact that the Celtics, 12 straight years in the playoffs, Jaylen Brown in like his 7th or 8th conference finals, Jason Tatum in like his 6th conference finals. This is par for the course for them. So because we know who Boston is and what they bring to the table, and they're led by two preeminent superstars in this game, in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, that's why we haven't been talking about the Pistons as much, because they've got to prove to us that they are what their record and the reason says they are. But we know they're formidable. We know they're tough. We know they're physical. We know they don't back down to anybody. And when Cade Cunningham is ready to go, which he should be for these playoffs, obviously that's going to do well for them. We shall see.
They could not score against the Knicks in the last 5 minutes of those playoff games last year. They could not score. They lost 3 home playoff games. Brunson made every big shot. They did not have anybody to match them. Knicks took Cunningham away. They had nowhere else to go. Knicks also had Towns. So to me, only won 2 playoff games. I got to see Detroit. So I don't think people are sleeping on them. I think they're not that great. I have to see Detroit. And last year I called it with Cleveland. I thought they were a paper tiger, and they got waxed in the second round. I think Detroit's going to have a lot of trouble here in this postseason. They're going to win the opening round. They beat us Charlotte and Orlando. We know that. That next round, I don't like Harden. So maybe they do beat Cleveland, but I don't think they're going to get by the Boston Knicks series. So I don't think Detroit. And Detroit's goal here is the finals. They lose in the finals, we're going to live with it. They had a great year. Detroit can't be the 1 seed, win 58, 60 games, whatever they won, and then show up nothing in a conference final. They got to win 3 playoff rounds for them to think, wow, Detroit did a great job.
Hold on.
And I don't think they're going to do that. 3, not 2.
Do you think they've avenged
That is utterly ridiculous. Hold on. That's Doggy think he's slick. So let me get this straight. Don't give me this regular season crap. The fact of the matter is, they were gone in the first round last year.
Right.
How is it that they go in the first round and all of a sudden, unless they're in the finals, the season's a failure? That's ridiculous. When's the last time they've been in the deep into the damn playoffs? When's the last time? Since 2005 with Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton and Ben and Rasheed Wallace and Tayshaun Prince with Larry Brown as their coach. What the hell have they done since that time? You trying to tell me that the Detroit Pistons is as much of a basketball purgatory as they were a couple of years removed from a 28-game losing streak? A 28-game losing streak. And you're trying to tell me because they went to the playoffs and they get bounced out in the first round, but then they come come back and they're number one seed. If they don't make it to the finals, their season is a failure. As far as I'm concerned, if they go, listen, excuse me, it's about Boston, it's about New York, it's about Cleveland potentially standing in the way. If the Detroit Pistons end up going to the conference finals, that is a successful season. That is a successful season.
So we're round
You
off.
can't
You're
say that
making me
it's
out to be a
not.
liar. One round. I say finals, you say conference finals. Is it
Well,
make a difference?
hold on. Hold on. Yeah, it is a bigger difference. You said finals are flop. Finals are bust. That's number one. Number two, if they go to a game 7 in the conference semifinals, it's still not a failure. Still not a failure. It's a good
If
season.
they can't beat the
They were in the
Cleveland
first round last year.
Cavaliers-
Guys, I think they need to win a playoff series. Like,
Hold on.
let's start there.
Oh, they got to beat. They have to.
They just gotta win a
they gotta
playoff
beat
series.
Cleveland.
They got to win a playoff series. That should be the bar right now,
Oh,
at least. And don't you think
they gotta
can
win a
avenge
playoff
the
series.
losses to the Knicks last year? I mean, they've blown them out in every game.
Means nothing. You got to. Now we
Means
find out.
something.
We find out now. But you mean to tell me if they lose to Cleveland, they've had a
moving
good
the
year?
goalposts.
If they take Cleveland to 7 games, Cleveland's a very good basketball team. If they take Cleveland to 7 games, I'm not going to say
Donovan
it's a failure
Mitchell
of a
and
year.
James Harden are not a joke.
James Harden's not a joke in a bit.
Donovan
Hey,
Mitchell
Steve,
and James
Steve.
Harden. Listen. He's had awful game 7s. He's had some awful playoff appearances, no doubt. But he's one of the prolific scorers the game has ever seen, and Donovan Mitchell is his teammate. And you got Mobley and Allen playing with you too. And you love Kenny Atkinson. You never thought he should have left Brooklyn. What's the shame in losing to Cleveland in a deep, long playoff series? You tripping?
They have something
You tripping,
to prove after
doggy.
last year, too.
Seriously.
Cleveland's got something on their shoulders. All right, we got to go. Coming up on First Take, we dive into the Warriors' incredible comeback last night that sent Kawhi and the Clippers packing. Kenny Smith is going to join First Take.